Once again, nailing the moment in which I decide to go live. Let me be mid sip of water while I do it. I'm a professional. Anyway, hey, welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2. We're about to go into what I believe is the final quest of the game. I also got myself a little snack, but the snack is pretzels. And one of the loudest, crunchiest foods that you can eat on stream. Teeth tourism, huh? Interesting. I'm making a lot. Mectal, I always do. What's worse is that I got a normal pile of pretzels as a little snack while I was setting up the stream, and then I finished them off, and I was like, I actually just want more pretzels. So I did go back. This is the second batch. This is the second fistful of pretzels that I just plopped on a pile on my desk. I didn't even put them in a dish. Is this my energy today? I guess so. I guess it is. We've got one. My guess is we're about to head into the final quest of Citizen Sleeper 2. In Age London, yes. I'm obsessed conceptually with the idea of consequence debt. Yeah, I just like the idea that you do things and you outrun the consequences for so long, but that just means that you do those bad things more and more often, and then suddenly there's just a moment in which the fact that you keep doing the thing comes back to haunt you, and you suffer. You suffer for it. I love the concept of consequence debt. And I love that we're getting some of that for Astra. Astra specific, targeted, pointed Astra consequent debt. Citizen Streaker 3. Okay, what are we doing? So, we have 2 drives right now. One is for Cadet the Space Witch, and one is to overthrow Lane. I don't necessarily know how to get this to happen, so I think we're just gonna take Cadet onto the contract with us, whatever contract we get into. It is sort of like karmic debt, but not quite. It's sort of like, I was talking about this recently, not to get too grim, I was talking about this recently because there was a car accident with a biker in St. Louis, and they found the person who was driving the car, basically, and that person had, like, in the last 2 years, something like 27 traffic infractions. They had just been, like, pulled over and, like, and just a truly insane amount. Yeah, since 2023, this is what the news article said, that they had somewhere in the 20s for traffic infractions. And it finally happened that their bad choices, because it's like, if that's how many you're getting infractions for, the number of times that you're actually, like, running through red lights and stop signs and stuff like that is probably magnitudes more. It's probably every time you get behind the wheel of a car, you are a danger to everybody in the city. So, and this finally caught up with them, but that's the thing I think about consequence debt, is that normally the person who has to pay the debt is not you. Because you're just, like, making choices that are dangerous and then not suffering any real penalties for it for so long that it's just like one of those cycles where it's like, you do it once, you roll through one stop sign, nothing bad happens, you don't get caught, you do it again and again and again, and just like the more you do it, the more justified you feel doing it until something happens. So, just wild. I'm developing my theory of consequence debt, I guess, is what I'm saying. Yeah, and here's what I'll say is St. Louis has I've lived in a lot of cities in this great nation of ours. I've driven in a lot of the cities I've lived. Each city has a unique sort of, like, driving culture of what, like, is and is not allowed, what crimes people are and are not allowed to do, basically, that are definitely illegal, but which are, like, socially acceptable. And St. Louis's car culture is by far the most dangerous and the most reckless of all the cities I've lived in. Because, like, people in New York are going to make insane choices about how they drive. Like, they'll just drive on the sidewalk and shit like that. But you know that it's always, their goal is always just to get off the street as quickly as possible. And so it's very predictable what they're going to do. And drivers in the Pacific Northwest are all fucking looky-loos, and they're all nightmare. I was once in, like, an hour-long traffic jam in the Pacific Northwest because there was an accident on the opposite side of the highway, but people were slowing down to look at it so much that it caused a traffic jam on my side of the highway. Pretty significant, like an hour-long traffic jam. So it's stuff like that, which is just, like, people making really dumb choices. In St. Louis, it's just crazy. Every red light, somebody is running red stoplights at, like, to an insane degree. Everybody, it's just like, it's wild. And people will, like, drive into the other lane to get around what they think are, like, slow drivers. I think the thing that makes St. Louis driving more difficult is that there's clearly, like, a big culture of, like, driving for fun in the city. And that's fine. I think that's actually, you know, totally lovely. But I think as a result of that, people want to go fast and they don't want to slow down. And so they make choices based on that. And it's just like, well, sometimes people are going to pay for those choices that you're making. All right. I think, how are we supposed to signal? Were we just supposed to go to dark side, maybe? Traffic lights are timed to accommodate for people who will run the red. Yeah, this is the thing, is like, it feels like any accommodation you make is going to encourage that behavior, and any encouragement of that behavior is going to make it worse. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to do about it. My friends who live in the city, some of them have a theory that, and this is true, Missouri doesn't require a class before you get your license. I don't know what the requirements are in Missouri, but apparently you don't have to take any safety class or anything before you get your license. And to me, that's bonkers. And also an easy fix. That's just a thing you could get to happen that would do a lot to improving the safety of this city. Okay. Corvus Punk, yes. Corvus Punk says, when I still rode a motorcycle, I learned to count to 3 before going through a new green light, so I didn't get killed by someone running red. I was reading an article in Wired a while back that was about, the article was them following a Waze automated car. And the person who was driving, the journalist, was a stunt driver, and he had driven taxis for a long time, and he was a professional driver, basically. And he talked about in the article about never being the first into the intersection as being a standard safety choice that taxi drivers make, where it's you don't want to be the first car in the intersection after the green light happens. And I was like, well, that makes sense for taxis, because taxis are metered for time. So there's not as much of a rush. But because of the nightmare system we find ourselves in, that Uber or Lyft drivers, whether they're doing food delivery or people delivery, they're getting paid by the ride, not by time. So they are incentivized to drive more dangerously, because the faster you get a ride over with, the sooner you get paid and can move on to the next ride. So it's stuff like that where it's wow, Uber really did fuck us all so bad. Rory, would you drop a link? Rory says, today is cost of living petition delivery day after delays. Please send solidarity. Oh, are we just sending emotional solidarity? In which case, good luck. I couldn't figure out if you were wanting us to sign something, which would also be helpful. Got another insane thing I see a lot in St. Louis is people there will be a turning lane. People just won't use it. They will just slow down in the regular lane and then just bypass, they just won't get in the turning lane. And it's there's a turning lane for the thing that you're doing. And it's stuff like that compounds the other actions, because that's also, it's dangerous, it's reckless, and you're forcing people who don't want to stop, which is causing, that's part of why other dangerous drivers are doing the things that they do, because people who think they are being more safe by not using that turning lane, but are actually being also very dangerous. Not as dangerous as somebody running a red, but dangerous. Thank you for the link, Rory. And good luck. All right, let's do this thing. All right, so I'm gonna take Cadet. Because I want her back up. I want to do whatever her drive is, if we can, if it's not too late. I don't know about the rest of these people. Flint, I kind of thought we would get a little bit of a storyline with Flint, but we are going to the end game now. And so I guess we're not going to get that. None of you motherfuckers have Endure. I truly cannot believe. I cannot believe we went this whole game without getting a single person on crew. that had... Oh, Cecia says, hi, I was watching the previous stream and I think the crew was freaked out by a sleeper being the hunter because the sleeper was not in that job of their own volition, getting assigned to go hunt sleeper's job the same way they would a mining job, pressured with the threat of their own death. I think that makes sense. Okay. I think that's a good read on the situation. But we still killed them. So in a way that feels like we took on a totally justified emotional burden, but then still did the thing that we were gonna do. Yeah, maybe, I wonder if there's an option where we didn't kill them. I don't know. Okay. Quasi-space, sadly, no. They're just gonna break on this. In this, the final quest of the game. They're just gonna break and we're gonna be fucked over. I mean, it might be worth taking... I mean, ooh, you know what? For story reasons, I might take Bliss, because I want to see Bliss and Ankita interact. Is that bullying? Is that mean to Bliss? I think I'm gonna. Yeah. I mean, this is sad because we've had Nia on the ship for a while. But again, like, no real storyline from her. She doesn't often show up in dialogue and stuff like that, which is a shame. So part of me's like, oh, I would like to spend more time with Nia. Maybe we should take her. But I'm gonna take Bliss. I want to see Bliss and Ankita hang. All right, Sleeper. God, all my fucking dice are gonna break. They're all gonna break on this contract. All right, Sleeper, you want to do the honors? Seraphine is strapped in the pilot seat, guiding the rig towards Darkside. You take the strip of plastic Carmen gave you and copy the frequency onto the comms window of the console. You type a simple message. Heading in. Good luck. The console chimes. The message is sent. You hope Carmen is in range to receive it. Goldfish would be really fun. Any sort of fish. Honestly, they should have just let me put an eyeball on this spaceship. That's what I want. I want to be a little parasite in this guppy. You search inside your mind, wanting to find Overseer there, but you feel no presence. You hope they will be ready when called for. You look ahead out of the cockpit towards the distant glimmer of Darkside. Time to take on Lane. When Seraphine finally brings the rig into the Sunward docks, everyone in the cockpit lets out a sigh of relief. The approach was simple, routine even. Checking in with the port administration, being assigned a dock, bringing the rig to a stop. All of it's familiar, but all of it laced with the tension of knowing that, at any point, it could all go very wrong. The spoof transponder worked, Seraphine shakes his head. So at least we know Carmen's as good as his word. So far. Let's take this one step at a time, all right? Seraphine shuts down the engine and unclips from his seat. You see Bliss nervously staring out at Darkside. They notice you looking and smile a weak smile. The real test for Carmen is connecting with Ankita safely. If Itsubo finds... They stop themselves. She's in serious danger. Bliss seems as nervous as you've ever seen them, and you wonder if it's the job that is weighing on them or the possibility of seeing Ankita again. Yeah, this is the shit. This is the good shit I was hoping for. You try to imagine Carmen, somewhere out on Darkside, perhaps smuggling himself aboard a freighter or among the crew of a trusted ally. You hope he's as confident as he seems about finding Ankita. We need to spend less time worrying about what Carmen has to do and more about what's ahead of us. Seraphine turns to you. The old facility, Hab Pep, was it? I'm guessing that's deep below all this. Seraphine gestures toward the vast accumulation that is Darkside, a city that grew on the back of the Hab Pep solar cells layer by layer. Its chaotic structure is neither planned nor regulated, but the foundations is built on should be as formal as any corporate facility. That means we need a path down into the foundations, and I suggest we don't just take the first one we find. Seraphine continues. We scope the area out carefully, quietly, perhaps using some sort of dice-based luck system. Look for the right path into the heart of this place. What about Utsubo? Well, thanks to the spoof transponder, they don't know we're here. Let's keep it that way. We're right behind you, Sleeper. Bliss forces a smile. Let's start the search. Oh man, Geo's die. Yeah, I remember that. That has been such a weird experience. Coming back to the Midwest and driving on the highway more, because it's like not as much of an issue, I feel like, in the city. But when you get out on the highways, at least for me in particular, the difference in lights, like when you're driving home from something, is noticeable and profound and really obnoxious. I'll hold the rig down. We don't want you losing your exit route like last time. He winks. Seraphine, you're in a more emotionally comfortable place to joke about that than I am. Here, he hands you a comms earpiece. I salvaged this from a suit helmet. It isn't secure, but as long as Utsubo don't know we're here, it should be fine. I'll let you know as soon as I hear from Carmen. He meets your eye. Go get this done, Sleeper. You nod. This is all it has all come down to. All right. Okay. So we've got the Sunward docks. Ooh, nice roll, Cadet. I mean, but again, we didn't get a single line from Cadet during that whole dialogue. Okay. So we can question Cruz, and I've got mad dice skills on that. We need 3 ticks on the path down, 6 ticks on the dock paths. We should be able to get this, no problem. Oh, an endure. An endure option, you don't say. Something that none of us have any points on. All right, but we got this one. It's not so bad. Is that the only thing Bliss can do here? Because that's rough. Oh no, they can search the docks. And that's dangerous, so it might get us more ticks. So I'm gonna have them start here. If only we had some sort of hunk with us. It's so true. All right, and then I'm gonna have Cadet start working on this. We do need, it seems like we need 3 ticks, but I only saw 2 places to be adding ticks. Are there more? Oh, is there another one down here I didn't even see? There is. Okay. Ah, okay. And this one is another 2 tick for me. All right. That's great. I made a good choice, I guess, with the stuff that I leveled up. All right. Since y'all can take care of that, Bliss can take care of this a little bit. I might be the only one who's going to be good at. Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop some dice here. I mean, I'm going to do my absolute best. Ooh, 3 ticks. 3 ticks with a positive. Don't mind if I do. All right, so that's 1 down. We hacked the bulkheads. I'm going to do my absolute best to not push at all, because I think the odds of me breaking a dice mid-contract here are intense, and I have no way of knowing how long or arduous the contract is going to be. It is the final... I mean, I guess I don't know that it's the final contract, but it's definitely... We're definitely in endgame. Trilobite Agent, no! Hunk Island? There's a hunk asteroid out here? And I didn't get invited to it because I'm not a hunk? I haven't befriended any hunks. It's pretty devastating, actually. All right, let's plug these in. Another 2 ticks. Ooh, should be able to get another 2 ticks, maybe. It's probable that my character has heard about hunk asteroid, but god damn it. It's possible that my character has heard about hunk asteroid, but just thought it was a hunk of asteroid and kind of dismissed it. They were just like, meh. Oh, that's right. We've got mushrooms we can just get at any time. Ooh, Melon on YouTube says, Consequence Debt. The concept reminded me of my cheating father, which I'm still actively living in said debt, and his continuous consequential actions. And also, hi there, Twitch chat. Yeah, this is the thing, is like, like I said, I'm working on my theory of consequent debt, but it does feel like, unfortunately, the people who who suffer the consequences of consequent debt are usually not the people perpetrating it, which is a shame. And maybe something that we should kind of see to in our culture in some way. Melon, they say hi back. A bunch of folks on the Twitch chat say hello back. Oh, wish we had gotten better dice for this one. But what do we need? We only need one more here. Bliss, it's only risky. Put your life on the line. We only need 2 more ticks. Come on. All right. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. So we just need this one. We only need 1 more tick. I'm gonna go for it. Okay. Okay. We've successfully broken in to the underground part of Darkside. As you're gliding down a dark tunnel, descending deeper into Darkside, your earpiece begins hissing with static. Sleeper! Seraphine's voice sounds distant, faint. Carmen, contact, met with target. You strain to hear the rest of the message, but you stay safe. The line goes dead. Uh-oh. Did the stream die? Oh, okay. I think it's doing the thing. YouTube. I think YouTube can still see me, potentially. I do think I'm still live on YouTube, so this is another specific Twitch issue. Okay. I remained live on YouTube that whole time. So this is something with Twitch. I don't know what this is. This is a real mystery. Because I didn't do anything, and I didn't get a pop-up either. I didn't get a pop-up saying, like, you're gone, you're back. It just said reconnecting. It gave me the same error message it gives me when, like, like the internet goes out. But my internet didn't drop. YouTube never lost me. That was a Twitch only issue. Great platform, Twitch. Keep at it. All right. Seraphine had absolutely nothing useful to tell me, so you didn't miss anything. Bliss stops and turns back to in the tunnel. Sounds like Carmen has made contact with Ankita. They look behind them. We should keep moving. The sooner we hit the mainframe, the better. You feel their concern for Ankita despite everything. You continue your descent down, ducking under thick cables and collapsed beams. The busy urban life of the city above seems far away now, hidden from your senses. Its rumble and brightness have been replaced by the cloying dark... Sorry, I guess I have the hiccups. By the cloying dark and growing oppressive heat. Darkside and the HebPep facility it was built on has been running unrestrained ever since the collapse, gathering huge volumes of energy, more than its residents could ever use. You feel like you could sense it in the walls, running like a torrent just behind the thin skin of metal and rubber. Ah! In H London, it's true. Oh, thank you for the scares, chat. A large portion of the vast amount of current running through the station is radiated into the void as heat, making Darkside a typically humid station. But down here, the heat is drier and more intense. The sections of wall glow with a fiery intensity. The tunnel levels out and light blasts through stripped viewing windows on either side, illuminating the passage in strips of burning white. Through the gaps, you can see a labyrinth of walkways and scaffolding tucked into the margins of the vast solar cells. The heat washes across your vinyl skin, making you tense against it. The underside of Darkside must be crossed. Glover. You should take that energy and write the rest of the lyrics. That's what I have to say. All right. Looks like there's one spot to do something. Can follow the margins or follow the hard line. Wow. And I am the only one who can do anything about any of these. Thankfully, I got +2 ticks on this, but I don't want to use my 1 die. All right, that got me 2 ticks. But if I take any stress, all of my shit's gonna break. Draw of my agent. Yeah. Hey, Kaylee. I'm gonna use 1. I don't think I'll take any stress if it's neutral. So I'm gonna try this, but I think this is the only dice I'm gonna try it with. Wow, okay, so even with a neutral, I take stress. Well, all right. I remain frustrated at the fact that I can't do anything about my broken dice until they break. Great. I just as a game mechanic, that's a little frustrating. Okay. Yeah, gold stars. That I'm feeling that same energy as well. Fundamentally, I like this game, but I definitely have some frustrations with it, which I will enumerate in detail after we finish it. Okay. In your exploration of the HabPep facility, you've seen through viewing windows and shutter slats a huge blister projecting out amongst the hex-shaped cells. You've approached it, circled it, and now you find yourself passing into it through layer after layer of broken and corroded safety doors. Even if you had not felt Overseer stirring, you would know this is the mainframe. But you've felt the protocol's presence, restlessly turning over in your mind like a sleeping animal, occasionally probing your senses, tracking your progress. We feel at home. Overseer's multiple bodies stretch out their arms as if basking in sunlight. The system's network signals that they are fractured and weak, but we know them. Each of the broken heads shares part of a smile. They are welcoming us. Hey, Cadet shakes you awake. This is the place. She gives you a concerned look. Do I need to worry about what's going on in there? No. No. Yeah, Gold Stars, I think I agree with you. One weird concern that I've had so far that I think is unlikely to change in this is that we've got a lot of fucking cargo that was, like, basically useless. Like, we got all these engine components, and we were able to upgrade our ship once, and we used them for one quest. But now I just have a bunch of engine components that I guess I can sell. The answer is I got a lot of stuff that the only real purpose of was maybe one quest or to sell. And I kind of just wish that there were fewer component stuff like this, and that the few that existed had more use. Because now it's just like, all right, I guess I could have sold all of this, but like, I don't really need money. You look around, suddenly aware that you've drifted somewhere you do not recognize in a state you were not in control of. The spherical chamber you float within has a mezzanine set around its circumference, the floor a metal grating you can see through. On this mezzanine are banks and banks of terminals, thick gathered cables snaking away from them across the floor. All of it bakes in the heat of HabPep's vast resistors. You follow the cables with your eyes. They lead to a cylindrical column coming down from the apex of the chamber. It is corroded and bent a little, with very few of the thousands of lights still flickering. Even in its decayed state, you know immediately. This is the mainframe. You feel a yearning towards it. One you know comes from Overseer. But as you look around for a connection point, all you see are burnt out cables, rusted sockets, and broken terminals. The glow of warmth makes you feel woozy. You need to work quickly to bring this back online before the current flowing through this place bakes you into the metal of its walls. We are hacking the mainframe! Alright. I think this is the only thing we can do. But let's see. Yeah, alright. Oh, Busted, you know I'm going to. You know I'm going to. Alright. That was 2 ticks. This will get us another 2 and another 2, but I don't really... I don't think I want to risk anybody else's dice. Right? I think the best we could get is 1 tick on that, and I just don't think it's worthwhile. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's worth... Oh, you're bad at harvesting. Bad at harvesting mushrooms. Alright. I think we'll just end the cycle then. Okay, cool. Cool dice roll. I'm gonna use your 6 dice to get this done. Maybe we should have used the 4 dice. Nah, it's fine. The column of the mainframe pulses with fractured lights, the scattered wave of systems awakening, accompanied by the whine and stutter of the machines all around. This thing is powered up! Cadet looks around the room, now shaking and shimmering with energy. This is just a big terminal, right? Because it feels like something much scarier than that. You reach out for the primed connector and with your hand touch the socket at the base of your synthetic skull. As you do, a sharp shock runs through your fingers. For a moment, it feels like your vision doubles. But as you pull the connector and its cable across your vision, you see that it is only your body that is doubling. The connector a stable object, while your arm leaves ghostly imprints through the air. Oh my god! We're not become mushroom, we become ghost! You wave it back and forth, but the multiple arms do not follow. Each instead takes on a life of its own, grabbing around your forearm and wrist, taking control of your arm. Cool. You feel their force as they push your arm across your body over your shoulder. They push once more, and the connector finds its home in the socket. That familiar flow, but stronger, rushing, rapid. Then a figure, no, 3 figures descend into it. A swimmer stepping into a river, a sleeper drifting out of an airlock, a symbol being subsumed into a sign. And you, little more than a witness, a marionette, its strings outstretched, mapped hand to hand, leg to leg, to another. The flow freezes, the 3 figures almost overlapping, almost complete, but not quite. Their tripled eyes look back at you in horror. The voice shrill, silent in your head. There's someone else in here? Heat. Glazing your thick vinyl skin, the mainframe a whirring chaos of light and sound. A brightness and then it fades, the light shutting off. The server's powering down, a single blinking light, the only thing left on the dark column. Keeping time, like a metronome. Oh shit. Cadet looks at the dark column of the mainframe. This thing just died! You close your eyes and try to recall the events that happened when you connected, playing them back in greater detail. Overseer was there entering the mainframe, but something froze the system, locking them in place. What did they say? Is someone in there with them? You open your eyes. Was this a trap? Someone else took control. As you speak, a fizzing static fills your ear. You flinch, thinking it is some new invasion of your system, but then you hear Seraphim through the haze. Sleeper, come now. Waiting. The rig. It's no use. You'll have to ascend to find out what's going on topside. You look at the mainframe with its single blinking light, still keeping time. It looks like Overseer will have to wait. Trapped in the mainframe, Overseer is still the key to all this. You hope you can get the protocol out, but you need to hear what Seraphim has to say first. You make your way out of the core, ascending back through the layers of HabPep, back into the docks. Seraphim meets you at the dockside docking tunnel. They are waiting inside. Who? He shakes his head and nods towards the airlock. Come on. I don't like this. Oh, it's just Carmen. Okay. You cross the ship in silence and find Carmen in the cockpit, looking out at Darkseid as it sprawls across the stars. Seraphine, you could have just said Carmen is here for you. Do you not understand the system, the sort of consequences we're in, Seraphine? Like, there's just no need to be that way. Sleeper, Carmen turns. Sorry to pull you away, but you need to know what's coming. What's going on? This idiot blew my cover. You turn as Ankita enters the cockpit behind you and Seraphine. You immediately clock the fresh bandaged sleeve around her left forearm. I think you did a pretty good job of that yourself, he retorts. You see a twinkle in his eye that suggests this back and forth is a well-practiced part of their relationship. Perhaps, but you'll never know now, not after you intervened to rescue me. Her hand goes to her bandaged arm almost instinctively. Utsubo know we're here? Not you, no. Ankita shoots a look. But we aren't exactly on speaking terms anymore. I passed the data to Ankita, and she tried to broach it with Utsubo. Carmen folds his arms, but Lane was more paranoid than we expected. He was listening in. Ankita had the data. I'm confused about what happened here. Ankita gave us the data to give to Carmen. I guess maybe it was different data that he was passing to Ankita? Whatever. She's been busted. Okay. Either that or his lapdog Daichi ratted us out. She shakes her head. I would have put him down if he hadn't gotten the jump on me. I don't think it was encrypted. I think we were just handing over the information. So he must be referring to some other data. It's fine. Either way, Carmen cuts back in calmly. I had to pull Ankita out. Carmen turns back to look over at Darkseid. The information did get through, though, and now Utsubo is in crisis as its members side with or against Lane. Meanwhile, Daichi is hunting us. Akita screws up her face, which means we need to be careful. That's why I called you in. Seraphine puts a hand on your shoulder. You need to watch your back. Oh, you don't say! Indeed, Carmen turns to face you. But how about the mainframe? Have you been successful? You explain the events of the cycle. The mainframe booted up, the successful connection, and then Overseer being locked inside, frozen by some other force. You mentioned their warning. There's someone else in here. Carmen nods thoughtfully. Unfortunately, we need that mainframe more than ever. With Ankita outside out of Utsubo, we have to get the word out. You think it's the same data? Ankita just didn't know what to do with it in the first place? I'm not convinced any of these people know what to do about it. It's also wild to me that Lane would be selling out Utsubo on his own and that this wouldn't be a thing that was happening in the larger group. That, like, this is very much a thing I hate in movies now, that so many movies and TV shows do that is so stupid, and I hate it every time, and I've very rarely seen it be successfully used, is this video goes viral as a plot point. And it's just like it happens over and over again by people who don't understand anything about internet culture. They're just like, yeah, the video went viral and then things got worse. Or better, that's the other thing, is like, this video went viral and we exposed this issue, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, what do you expect that's actually going to happen? It's such an easy, like, movie thing to do where it's like, okay, and then everything's solved or everything's broken now. And it's like, none of that's right. None of that's accurate. And this feels a little bit like that, where it's like, we just have to get the information out. And then, you know, this problem will be taken care of and we didn't have to do anything about it. And it's like, well, is that interesting from a storytelling standpoint? I don't think so. But that might just reflect my online nature. Videos are always going viral and not just getting 12 views. Yeah, it's also like, I'm willing to forgive, because the videos that go viral are always like absolutely nothing. Like, they're always just like, this is not what goes viral, my dude. I'm sorry, Evan Hansen's speech and Evan Hansen. It doesn't go viral. None of these things go, this is not it. I don't know. I guess screenwriters just think it's really easy for videos to go viral. And then they think that video going viral is gonna do a lot for anybody when, like, nah. Garmin's right. Utsubo will be distracted by these revelations, but it won't last. Without further proof, they'll all line up behind Lane in time. We need the mainframe. Yeah. Wishful thinking for writers and their TikToks. Yeah, maybe. It would be fine if it happened like once, but it happens so consistently in TV and movie now. TV and movies now, where it's just like, and I just find it very lazy writing. If your protocol is being locked in by some counter protocol or agent, I wouldn't be surprised if it can be traced back to Utsubo. Anki looks at Carmen. I know the locations of a few of those network nodes. We should hit them first. No, we need to stay under the radar. Sleeper and their crew will investigate the nodes quietly. You and I will run interference. Keep Utsubo away from those locations as best we can. What if we don't find anything? Utsubo uses the hardline networks of the old facility. If it isn't them locking down the mainframe, it's something using that interface. You think of the feeling of stasis you felt when Overseer was trapped, and the power required to halt the flow of a mainframe as vast and ingrown as HAP-PEP 1. Could it just be an Utsubo hacker? You doubt it. Seems like we have a plan. Seraphin looks between you all. That we do, and we'll need you to keep running comms between us. Sleeper, Ankita will give you the location to dig in, but keep it quiet. Daiichi is out there, and he isn't as easily avoided as some low-ranking enforcer. Ankita slaps the top of a couple crates of supplies you hadn't noticed before. Woo! Consider these my parting gift from my tenure at Utsubo. Swiped them from a gang storehouse. Thought you might need a resupply. Ankita? That's clutch. Can you also repair my shit or what? All right, Carmen addresses the room. Keep quiet and keep in touch. We can still pull this off. Okay, so we do have a Daiichi tick now. Yeah, I am... That Galumper, that was exactly my thought, slapping the top. Yeah, no dialogue between Bliss and Ankita. This is, I think, my other complaint about the game is that we have this cool, like, crew of people, but, like, I don't think I can fix my dice while I'm on contract as I am now. Bliss, could you duck? I'm trying to see what... Action unavailable. Yeah, I can't repair them while I'm on mission, while I'm in a contract, so they're just gonna keep busting until I lose, I guess. Yeah, it's just we have so many cool crew members, but I don't even have a way to complete this thing, even though we're here, because I guess we're not here as a city, we're just here as a contract. But it's like, I kind of thought that when people joined our crew, they would have a little bit of a storyline, because Cadet does, but like, Nia hasn't gotten a story at all. I guess her story happened to get her on our crew. All right, what are we doing? We've got the dock node. Can bypass. Yeah, but that's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame that, like, Junie and Cadet have storylines that we get to follow through, but it does feel like Nia joined our crew and was just like, never heard from again. Okay, got 2 ticks here, another green. Do we have anything that we're going to be able to use Cadet's dice on? I love Junie's storyline. Are we going to get a conclusion to it, though? Because we don't have another... We don't have a drive for her. And I don't... Did we conclude her storyline? I don't think we really did. Oh, okay, we only need 2 ticks here to hack the trace. I guess let's do this. I see, okay, we have to hack this 6 times to get 1 tick. Do we have anything that we can use Cadet on? Not a single thing that we won't have negatives. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. Well... Yeah, I can't help but think about... When I think about how Nia is a part of the crew in this game, it kind of makes me think about... I would love for that to be Nia's storyline, actually. That would be great. It makes me think about how Will had the fewest scenes and the least amount of dialogue in Baldur's Gate 3, where it's like... There's just something weird about Nia being our only black crew member and just, like, not getting a storyline, really. It's just, like, it's stuff like that, which is, like... You don't realize you're doing this, maybe, but you, at a certain point, you need to step back and be like, have we done due diligence for all of our friends? Femi doesn't get much either. That's a shame. Well, all right, so you got a 4 here. And you can do okay here with tailing enforcers, but... God, just, like, not a lot we can fucking do. Alright, that was +2. Alright. I mean, this is not gonna be great no matter what we do. Okay, cool. I mean, I really don't want to use any dice because any failures is going to get me more stress. I don't mind that it doesn't tell you what skills might be needed. I can appreciate that there is some, like, some interesting math you have to do from a player's standpoint. But then there have been a lot of quests where it's like, it doesn't feel like there's necessarily a good spread of skills. Because, like, Cadet has 2 skills, and none of those 2 skills are being used, even though we have 3 separate nodes. So it just doesn't feel like... It doesn't feel like a good... It's just frustrating to have chosen somebody who has 2 skills that they're good at, and for there to be three nodes open that they can't do anything on. It's just sort of like, well, it's just a little frustrating. All right, I'm gonna use this 5 die here. Hopefully I don't get a neutral. Hey, okay, so we got one of them. I guess let's just focus on this one. I should have just used my 6 dice. All right. Okay. So this should be the only hack we need. I don't believe it. Carmen stares through the shutters of the viewing window at a smooth, squat ship tucked into the derelict bay between the hexes. How long has it been here? When the nodes were hacked and the trace established, you imagine it might lead to an Utsubo operator or perhaps an old subnode containing an aggressive Solheim protocol gone mad with isolation. Not this. Never this. A Senate stat ship tucked into the belly of Darkseid like a parasite. We need to move on that ship now. Ankita's already adjusting her gear, preparing for an assault. We can hit at Utsubo's safe house for weaponry. There's one... Carmen holds up his hand. This is a gift, Ankita. Don't be so brash. He turns back to face the both of you. All we had until now was data, conversations, evidence easily denied or destroyed by Lane. But a Senate-stat ship hidden inside the station? Carmen nods grimly. There are hundreds of crew, thousands of residents who would give everything to protect Darkseid from the war. Carmen turns back to the ship, silhouetted against the starlight. All we need to do is point them in the right direction. We turn Darkseid on the ship. And on Lane at the same time. Carmen nods grimly. We leak it all, send it out through the mainframe. The ship's location, the evidence of Lane's betrayal, all of it. You're forgetting one thing, Ankita interrupts. Until the ship leaves or is taken, they still have the mainframe locked down. We can't blast out its location through the network without taking it on first. Carmen pauses, considering his options. You look at the Sinitstat ship, half concealed in the bay. It looks sleek, dangerous. What defense might a ship like that deploy when threatened? Carmen and Ankita exchange looks. Then we attack first. Carmen and I will distract the ship's occupants, turn their focus away from the mainframe. Then you, Sleeper, hit the mainframe and force them out. As soon as Overseer is released, you send out everything. Once it hits the network, our backup will come. He gives Ankita a grim look. We only have to hold them off for as long as it takes for other crews to realize what is happening. The plan feels desperate, and you know that Carmen and Ankita think so too. Will Darkseid really mobilize against the ship so quickly? 2 old mercs against an unknown Sinitstat force feels like an unwinnable battle. We know the stakes, Sleeper. Ankita takes a deep breath. We can handle them. Ankita frowns, an unpleasant thought passing through her mind. I've given up everything to get Utsubo out. Let me finish the job. But why? If we make it to the other side of this thing, I promise to tell you. Ankita folds her arms across her chest. Go to the mainframe and get set up. When you're ready to connect, let us know. Carmen puts a hand on your shoulder. Once you start, don't stop for anything. Get the data out. He meets your eye. We will handle ourselves. You turn and glide away, looking over your shoulder at 2 ex-mercenaries as they discuss their plan of attack. Seeing them slip back in these old roles, you can't help but wonder, does anyone ever outrun their past? Or is it always waiting there in the dark to claim you in the end? It's a great question. All right. What is this going to be? Same thing? All right. Well, at least we have something we can reasonably use a cadet dice on. All right. Yeah, I don't really want to use anybody else's dice on this. Hey! I think the game is slightly generous about which dice it breaks. I'm curious if there's like... I'm curious if they're fudging the numbers a little bit on the back end. Wow, you 2 rolled so well. Alright, we've isolated the mainframe. The heat inside Habpep core is intense as you stare at the column of the mainframe, its one blinking light still keeping time. Seems ready, Cadet wipes sweat from her brow. Only one way to find out, I guess. You look around the ragged bay. Time to give Carmen the go-ahead. You glance at Ankita's thumb drive, now slotted in the main terminal, containing a data packet with everything you need to unseat Lane and reveal the Sinitstat ship. You'll hope it'll be enough. You hold a finger to your earpiece and let Seraphin know to relay the message through to Carmen. All right, Seraphin's voice is heavy with worry. I'll tell them. Be safe, Sleeper. Get this done and come back. Yeah, I will, bud. Good luck, friend. The comms click off and Seraphin switches to Carmen's channel. You wait, imagining the conversation, the terse words activating the plan. You wait long enough for Carmen and Ankita to nod to each other, long enough for them to drop down through the bays in silence, to check the weapons they stole from Utsubo, to take their positions, and then to make their move. You grab the connector and hold it behind your head, close to the access point. You silently count to 3 and then connect. At first, nothing has changed. You drop into a state of stasis, a small dark space with no cracks. The mainframe is locked down, shut off, squeezed inside the grip of some clenched fist. Then you see it, a trickle of light, a flicker of threads. Overseer flows into the space and the torrent begins to run. The rushing gray pulse of data, the connective threads, the jewel of the mainframe, they grow inside the space, and the space in turn grows. We see you there, Sleeper. Overseer separates and reforms within the expanding landscape. Who is this other? An obstruction. Overseer's 3 heads nod. Then we will clear the path. Overseer explodes! The points and lines of light that describe its human form separate and multiply, constellations bursting outward like a tree of stars. Overseer becomes plural. As they do, the darkness is pushed back and the extent of the mainframe is revealed. It is a stack of jeweled surfaces, each revealing more facets as the angle changes. From these facets, threads project, cutting out across Darkseid, paths that stretch the length of the entire station. Their arrangement is an invitation. You accept their invitation, sending yourself skimming through lines of light, seeing how the station connects and hums with the flow of data. You see the highest tower, the lowest hex, and then the origin of the dark. A squiggle of black wrestles around a single point. The Sinitstat ship, now a battleground. You see flashes and flickers as Overseer dances around it, cuts at it. But looking around, you see Overseer is everywhere now, multiplied into 1,000 forms. Reunited with a system designed to serve them, they dissolve into it. You suddenly remember what needs to happen, what you need them to do. You send out separate requests summoning Overseer, reminding them of your agreement. You take the bright polygon of the data packet and present it like an offering to Overseer, who is diffuse, crackling all around you, euphoric in their reconstruction as a functional protocol. You receive no response. There's nothing more than a whisper, snatched away on the flow of data rushing by. And then you hear the static in your earpiece, Seravin's desperate cry for a response. You see a bright point suddenly close, inside the core with you, a broadcast going out from it like the beam of a lighthouse. You reach back and pull on the connector just to clear the brightness from your eyes, just to block the broadcast. I've found you. Lane floats in the mainframe, sweat across his brow, his eyes steely cold. I finally found you. Cadet slams into Lane, swinging her fists and screaming at him. You freeze, watching Lane fight back, hearing Seraphine's voice shimmering in your earpiece, passing on Carmen's desperate request for aid. I guess I'll reconnect. There's no, dice roll here. There's no chance check. You grasp for the connector and then drive it home. You're in the constellation of Darkseid's network. The exploded body of Overseer stretches across it as if it has been atomized. Anatomized? Lane is still a beacon, one that flashes close, but you do your best to ignore it and reach out to Overseer once more. Remember me, Protocol. Remember your promise. Something begins to form, begins to flicker. As it does, you hear something outside the network. The bright crack of an electrical discharge, the grunt of pain and impact, then silence again. The brightness grows, it draws closer, and the blinding white blanks out everything. You open your eyes to a smile like knives. Behind Lane's pale head, a body of a friend floats, stunned in the dark. Rip Cadet. God, if only I had had a hunk! Do you think it matters? Do you think, it would have mattered if I had had, a hunk on board? Fingers of Lane's carrier signal reach inside your mind. Hunk det, no! You're boxed into the viewing window behind your eyes. A passenger in your own body. Lane is in control. Oh, it's so much easier now that I'm prepared. You don't think it would matter for this? It's almost a seamless switch. Lane's face is in your vision, but his mouth does not move. And the duality of it, like a mirror, turned to face itself. In perfect unison, you and Lane lift your hands in front of your face and turn them, inspecting them. You feel sickened, a flare of panic going off in your mind. Look at this! Lane opens and closes your fist with a motion like a wave that runs finger to finger. There are improvements to be made, but this is remarkable. Lane's eyes look into your eyes, a perfect loop. I always knew your body was a gift, Sleeper, from the moment I first saw you. A gift you could not recognize because you only saw a burden, something to be escaped from. But I saw what it was. Lane's eyes flash. An opportunity. Like a puppet, you're turned to face the mainframe. You glide forward a little, hands reaching for the access terminal. Ankita's drive glints there in the slot. You control none of this. Lane's voice. Imagine having more than one body, more than one agent in the world to do your bidding. Your hand reaches down, finger and thumb pinching delicately around the drive. It's a thrilling thought, and one I've harbored for a long time. There's nothing worse than a villain monologuing, except a villain monologuing where you can't reply. Because he's monologuing with your voice. With a sharp motion, you pull the drive free. Then I saw you, my Sleeper, and I knew I must have you. You hear Seraphine's voice in your ear. Sleeper, Carmen needs the signal to go out now. There's panic in his voice. They can't hold out any longer. Wow, so we haven't gotten the signal out even? No matter how hard you try, your lips do not move. No words can be produced. You reach your hand under Lane's control, reach up and pull the earpiece out, letting it float away into the chamber. Enough distractions. Where the fuck is Bliss? Your other hand holds up Ankita's drive, turning it in the light in front of your eyes. Some time ago, I set myself the task of changing you from a hollow thing into a vessel to be filled. Your finger and thumb transfer the drive to your palm, and now I'm able, with the help of my allies, to fill you up. Yeah, we know it's like a weird sex thing for you, Lane. Can we move on? I'm more than a signal now, more than flesh and blood, more than you in my ambition, in my desire. And that means you are surplus to me now. Your fist closes hard around the drive, crushing it to dust. Weak and broken thing, your time is over. Lane's other body approaches you and lays its hand on either side of your head. You feel the pressure. You cannot move. You cannot resist. Then a spark as one of Lane's fingers slips and depresses a little into the access port on your head. There's a flicker, the flash of something passing through the spaces between. Something writing a signal back to its broadcaster. We have not forgotten, you hear Overseer. They are reconstituted. We are ready to act as one. Overseer holds the bright data packet in a single hand. We are broken. We are many, but now we are whole, and we appreciate what you have done. Overseer shapes the data packet into a point, a bright spear of light. The spear extends through your mind gently, harming nothing of you. Instead, its point finds the mind of the other, of Lane, and pierces it directly. You hear Lane scream as his implants burn in his skull. His head flares bright white in the cloud. And then, with that mind has gone dark, and the pressure on the sides of your head has receded, the packet explodes across the network, white-hot and urgent. In its wake, data points are seeded, conversations, coordinates, a conspiracy. At the furthest part of the network, its distance edge, the data packet arrives with a little more force than a notification, delivered to every device and terminal within its range. But here at the epicenter, it blasts through you with such power that for a moment, every thought, every idea, every piece that might make up yourself is wiped cleanly from your mind. Okay. Takes a long time to put a person back together. A long time in the dark, picking up fragments of what once was whole. Like waking from sleep, you can never be sure what piece might have gone missing in the reconstruction, what might have been lost. But you continue anyway, through hazy cycles of faces and distant voices. This is, after all, not the first time you've had to remake yourself, and you imagine it will not be the last. You're up! Seraphim finds you looking out of the lone window at the rig's breadth, a slit that stares out across the shattered edge of Darkside. How long was I out? Seraphim gives you a half grin. Best not to think about it. He looks away for a second. Long enough. Suddenly, Seraphim crosses the bunk and embraces you. He squeezes you once and then backs off, hands on both your shoulders. Good to see you up, he smiles, as always. Come on, we need to go find Bliss. Seraphim leads you out of the bunk, through the ship, and down the docking tunnel onto Darkside. As you glide through the docks, he recounts what's happened over these past cycles. You weren't the only one to take a beating. He squeezes through a group of cargo porters carrying crates. Ankita and Carmen help out against the Sinitsat ship long enough, but they aren't without their share of injuries. They're back on their feet now, though working together. They've managed to quiet down some of the remnants of Utsubo, stop the infractional infighting. They are clearing out one of the Utsubo safe houses over in the Rise. I'm sure they could use the help if you need something to do. Marco's come to the station too. I can't do the fart sound. I'm so sad. He wanted to help with the cleanup after Utsubo fell. He's working with Ankita. What if the final quest of the game was kill Marco? Smother Marco in his sleep. I should go see him, but Seraphim sighs. You feel like he hasn't quite accepted Marco's reappearance. You aren't sure how you'd react to see him again either. No, I know exactly how I would react to that, actually, game. Oh, and Carmen isn't sticking around. He's already left for Oliveira. Seraphim pauses for a second, a memory of that place coming back to him. You watch him shake the thought away. Junie, meanwhile, is still digging into all that data she pulled from the bunker. She's down in Hab Pep Core most cycles, trying to make sense of it. Anyway, you'll soon catch up on everything. He smiles sympathetically, but there's something behind his look. You can't quite place it. Yeah, it's a great question. What the fuck happened to Cadet? What the fuck happened to Cadet? Last time we saw her, she was like unconscious. It would be super cool to get an update on her. The two of you continue on in silence, drifting into the depth of Darkside. Good friends, side by side. Seraphim leads you down a passage lined with bright lights and screens, sounds and lights blasting out of the shop front on either side. You know this place, Flicker Row. He stops outside a familiar door, the shop you woke up in all those cycles ago. He gives the door a few quick raps with his knuckles. You wait. Hey, sleeper, he shoots you a glance. When you're ready, we should talk about the future. What comes next, all that. I guess maybe the game keeps going after you've found the end? Because I can't imagine why else they would bother. Like, because we still have a thing to do. Assuming Cadet is still alive. Hey, yeah, give me some time. Yeah, of course. He looks away. Just feels like a few things have changed. Sleeper! Bliss opens the door and immediately jumps to hug you. They let go sheepishly and look between you and Seraphim. First day up, thought you'd be celebrating your freedom. Don't want to overdo it, Seraphim shakes his head. Plus, there's more important stuff to talk about. His eyes shoot into the shop beyond. Bliss's voice drops. You sure, Seraphim? They just got up. Can't it wait a cycle? They should know, Bliss. It's important. You nod hesitantly, then back into the shop, letting you come inside. Little has changed since you were last there. The stacks of servers, the refurbished hardware secure in roof and wall netting, the connectors, including the one that facilitated your reboot. Bliss and Seraphim follow behind quietly, and the atmosphere is immediately ominous. Christ. I mean, now that we have access to the thing that rebooted me, we could do that with Flint, right? Do you think that's something the game is going to account for, or is Flint not enough of a character for that to be a part? I've been keeping an eye on you these past cycles. Bliss hooks their leg around a stool by a counter, making sure you were stable. Your frame, I'm sure you know, has been through a lot, and when Overseer pushed Lane out, well, things got more complicated. All those changes Lane made to your system, he did it through your stabilizer. He laced it with proteins meant to alter your frame's basic functions, to accept other emulations, other minds, to open you up to remote access. What Overseer did corrected some of that, or at least wiped it from your system, but the stress involved and the damage from your last partial reboot, Bliss falls silent, unable to answer their own questions. We need to finish the reboot, Sleeper, the one Lane interrupted. Seraphim can always be relied on to tell you things straight. Not immediately, but at some point soon. Oh, they're gonna brainwipe me again? Well, my memory loss was because the reboot got interrupted, I think. I'm not quite ready, but now that you're up, I'll get to work. Is it dangerous? Look, I'll be honest, Sleeper. I know we need to finish the reboot, Lane interrupted. I'm sure of it. But the effects, they shake their head. Your frame was complex to begin with, but after everything, the reaction could be bad. We can talk more about it when I have the... Bliss suddenly stops, their eyes shooting to the door. Sorry, am I... Flint floats in the doorway. They look at you wide-eyed. You're up! A smile crosses their face, though it quickly fades. Good to see you. Really good. Yeah, and you, bud. Flint nods and silence falls on the group. Flint has become my patient, too. Bliss claps their hands nervously together. We've been able to acquire some stabilizer from Lane stores, which has helped, but we don't have much of a supply. Bliss is gonna reboot me, like you were. I won't need stabilizer anymore. Yes! They sound almost excited at the prospect. Yeah! Yeah! You look at Bliss. Flint knows the risks, but they've asked for the procedure. Still, they shouldn't underestimate the danger. Sleeper will also need the reboot, so they don't have a choice in the matter. It's essential. Flint goes quiet. Bliss and Seraphim look nervously at you to see your reaction to all this. You feel like a spotlight is being shown on your face. All you want is some time alone to think. We should do it together, Flint speaks quietly. Whatever the risk, we risk it together. I owe you that and more. What? Listen, we're both gonna do it. You're being really dramatic about this, but I don't know why. Let's pick this up again in the future. Bliss tries to calm the tension. I still need many cycles to prepare, especially if I'm to reboot you both simultaneously. Why? It'll be your choice, Sleeper. You decide when. They reach out and lay a hand on yours. But without this, you will soon begin a decline. I'm sorry for that. Your head spins. Seraphim slaps a button to open the door. Come on, Sleeper. Let's get some air. You follow him outside, but when you get there, all you can think is that you can't breathe. You don't need to breathe. A wave of claustrophobia passes over you. You're in control of this, Seraphim. Sleeper. Seraphim stares at the lights and signs a flicker row, looping endlessly. You put what you need in order, and I'll be right there with you. I got Bliss to teach me a little bit about the repairs they've been doing for you. I know it's getting worse, but I'll do my best to keep you running. You let me know when you want to leave, and I'll fly you out of this place faster than you can believe. He turns to face you, and we can go wherever you want. There's time for us yet. Thank you. You never need to thank me, Sleeper. Just look after yourself. I was also thinking, Seraphim looks away. I got a message from Oliveira. They're still getting the place together, but with Carmen heading back, the colony is starting a new chapter. Maybe we should head out there at some point, lend a hand. He pauses, unwilling to push it further. He wants to go see his girlfriend. Anyway, just give the word, Seraphim smiles. We're all glad you're back. Turns and drifts away, leaving you among the cycling colors and cacophonous sounds of Flicker Row. Close your eyes and let them wash over you with a wave. Like a wave. There, in the dark of your mind, you search for Overseer, but the protocol does not appear. You wonder if, in that final moment, Overseer might have destroyed themselves to end Lane. Then you feel it flickering nearby, a signal in the dark. You open your eyes and see something pass through the screens of Flicker Row, a shadow in all the brightness. Could Oversteer still be there in the ancient networks of the Habpep? You turn away and glide out of the row. You have other things to worry about now. Oh my god. Hey, Cadet, you're alive! How are you doing? Cadet finds you in the dark side thoroughfare, a glass-roofed canyon of struts and screens. Still recovering. Hey, I get it. But look where we are. How are you, Cadet? I guess you're fine. She gestures around the broad street with its layer of tech and dirt, heart of the belt. You really look at the glass-roofed street. Its walls are built from scaffolding and shipping containers, hull plates, and Solheim Hab units. People glide across the open space to units and shops on either side, and everywhere screens flicker and glare without sense and reason. You feel the heat, the power that flows through this place, collected by the vast solar cells that form the city's foundations. Heart is the right word. This place is a center of circulation, toned, muscle tough, and running to a beat. You turn to Cadet and can see it in her eyes. She loves being here. I've been thinking of how good it would feel to run my air bike down the street. This city has to need couriers, right? That's a good idea. I know. She flexes her shoulders back. But there's some unfinished business weighing me down. She meets your eye. Hexport. You think of the drive tucked away in the scatter yards, the one that contains the data stream from a drone mine vivisection, the one that might have caused the loss of an entire station. We need to go finish what we started, find who's responsible, and make it known. Clear my name. Is Hexport still irradiated? I would think so, but it'll be faded. We can get in and out safely from what I know. We better try soon, because the safer it gets, the more scavengers will come to pick the bones. We want to be there. We want there to be something left to tell the story. I know a lot just went down, Cadet puts a hand on her hip, but these clowns could still be operating. Hell, they could be trying the same thing again at this station. We need to go find what they did. She takes a deep breath. I'll be waiting. And maybe once it's all done, I'll let you take the first airback ride through this place. She raises a hand and then is gone. Alright. But there's still a lot of... There's still so much game. I really thought that was the end of it. Finish the reboot. Clear out Utsubo. But like that was the end of the story. I'm really confused. I guess there's just like search the safe house, Flicker Row, reboot prep. I see. So I guess maybe the reboot is the end? Scrap shift. We can process scrap. But like, is there a place where I'm going to be able to sell this scrap or what? Alright, Junie's studies, so there's a couple ticks there. Okay, so this is all just post-game stuff. Doing the reboot will get you to the end credits. Well, I guess we should do that? I mean, we've got... Probably got enough for an upgrade now. Oh, no, we don't. Okay. I mean... I don't... Yeah. I guess Lane's dead. Okay, well... I mean, the next time I go out on a quest, all of my shit is gonna break. I do find it really frustrating that there's just no way to repair, to do anything about your dice being broken until it's, like, too late. That is frustrating from a gameplay standpoint. Alright, well... I guess let's go visit Olivera. Or nah, yeah, you know what? Let's do this cadet subquest. I don't know. Listen, none of you are hunks, so what does it even matter? What does it even matter if you're on the ship? Nia, you want to come hang out? As the rig drew closer to Hexport, the crew became silent. Now staring out at what is left of what was once a thriving station, you feel empty. The full extent of the damage is impossible to ignore. Grim, Seraphin shakes his head. Doesn't feel like we were here that long ago, he sighs. And now, this is what's left. You look at the clouds of scattered debris, the layers of station torn open in the void. It's a reminder how close the war and the unseen atrocities of the inner system are to shifting into the belt. I don't like digging around this place like this. Let's be quick about it. Agreed. We'll be fast. I'm here if you need me. You're not! You're not here, Seraphin! You head to the airlock to suit up and get ready. You ready for this? Cadet catches up with you in the passageway. This place is already giving me the treats. Yeah, I'm ready. There are answers to be found. We'll find them. I don't like being back here. Nia is suited up. But Fimini and I could have... She stops herself. We need to find out who's responsible for this. Cadet takes a suit from the locker. Seraphin said the radiation is lower than expected, but still too high for prolonged exposure. The suit should keep the most of it off, but we can't take too long out there. The stress on the suits and the rig? We'll be forced to leave in 3 cycles, not a moment more. You get ready to, your mind filled with memories of Hexport. You hope they will help. Oh, you know what? I didn't even repair this one broken dice before coming out here. That was sloppy. That was so sloppy. I really should have repaired that. All right, can any of you do anything? This is Cadet's subquest, and none of her skills are usable. It's like, this is literally, we had to take her for this, but we don't get to use any of her skills for it. It's frustrating. All right. Hopefully the danger gets us more ticks. You hear that, Sleeper? Cadet stops among the debris just outside the ruined exchange. The search so far has been thankless, a grim slog through the endless debris. You're glad for the break. You stop, floating in the dark, and listen. There's a hiss on the open comm channel, a hissing you've grown used to. Now that you listen to it again, though, you notice something else in the noise. There's something different to it now. A texture, a modulation of tone. Is that... A voice, Cadet cuts in. Someone is speaking. Her eyes look wide through the faceplate of her suit. You listen carefully, and yes, perhaps there is a voice there, though it's quiet and distant. It could be a person speaking, or it could be some residual signal from an automated system, one that is slowly dying in this wasteland. You see Cadet moving around, testing the signal strength from different positions. It's coming from the direction of the docks. Her voice hisses through the comms, layering over the broadcast. A survivor? Cadet meets your eyes, both of you hoping this might be true. It's probably just a comms echo, Seraphin cuts in over the comms. We can't go chasing ghosts, not with so little time left. The rig can't sit out here getting cooked by radiation, and neither can you. You should move to the epicenter where Factory Row used to be. That's where this all went down. Cadet looks at you, and you know she wants to chase the signal to the docks. She wants there to be someone there, calling out to you. You look over toward the remains of Factory Row, an epicenter as Seraphin called it. It's now a cloud of debris and fragments of bays, a shadow of what it once was. For the first time in a long time, you think of Karsten. You look back at the remains of the docks, a few warning lights and systems still flickering away in the ruins. With not much time left here, you have a choice about where to focus your efforts. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay. So we've got map, navigate debris, or map the explosion. That's the main thing we're here for. I think so, Tralabai Agent. I think Karsten was the guy we made the deal with. That Dooney definitely did not kill. I do want to trace the broadcast, but like once again, useless. My darlings are useless here. I think I might use this 3 and re-roll. I kind of want to force myself to get stressed so that more of my stuff can break, so that I can repair it. Alright, well, let's use your terrible dice for this, I guess. Okay. Hey, nice. Good work, Nia. Yeah, I guess we should focus on this. Ugh. Hey, I got a stress. Yeah, let's push this. All right. We've had a real hunk deficit this whole game. All right. Let's end the cycle and get all our shit broken. Okay. Let's not get any of our shit broken. Game, I want to break this shit. All right. I really want to find this person. God, it's just going to take so many ticks. Alright, we'll put you here. Yeah, put you here. Get you in here. Alright. We should be good to go. Nice. Alright. Ice applaud. You float in the pieces of what was once Factory Row. There's little way to see what these pieces once were, scattered and scorched as they are. You cannot assemble them back into the place in your mind, and the longer you've searched here, the more this broken place has weakened your memory of when it was whole. But you've managed to put together something here, part of the story of Hexport's final moments. That story is told in the blast marks on the exterior plates, the pattern of debris, the materials and makeup of the station's remains. Beyond that, one other thing is remarkable. There aren't any bodies. It seems that Hexport had some warning. The lack of docked ships, the lack of mass casualties. Though the explosion surely killed many, it all suggests a station that had time to react, or at least evacuate in part. And then there's the blast, an explosion that the evidence points to as coming from the outside of the station. It's hard to tell, as so much secondary damage was caused by debris and shrapnel, but the pattern is there if you look. Something catches your eye, and you look over to see Cadet arriving alongside of you, studying the same debris as you do. And putting it all together. The pieces come together. The moment of warning of evacuation, and then an external attack. The first causes the second. What? A moment of warning, then an external attack caused by the moment of warning? You know the drone mine was there, being scraped for code and data, screaming for it to stop. Then something happened, something that its captors could not control. There was a crisis, rapid, panicked, and Hexport was killed for their crimes. It was a cover-up, wasn't it? Cadet's been watching you think through the evidence, and you see the flash of recognition in her eyes. They wanted to hide what was happening here, what they were doing. It has to be Sinetstat. Who else would sacrifice a station to remain hidden? You can see the anger in their eyes. Theory is hard to refute. They brought the drone mine here to study, to scrape, to gain any advantage from, and when something went wrong, Hexport paid the price. The logic is cruel and cold, the kind that the vacuum of the Hellion system allows. You find no comfort in knowing the truth. Alright. Well, we're gonna stay one more cycle and do this last one as well. Broken dice, maybe? Oh, you feel it in the moment you wake, a flicker at the edge of your perception, a sensation beyond your body, a blinking, a tugging, and then numbness as something shuts off within you. The panic is instant, the feeling of something not being right within you spiking your fear. But no pain comes, you feel no further shifts, and as time stretches out, you settle again. You calm yourself. You know immediately that this is what Bliss was referring to. Your frame's decline, the one the reboot should reverse. You flex a little, feel your body trying to ground yourself. It will not collapse this cycle, but something has changed. This is how it will be until the reboot. You hope you have long enough to finish what you must. You begin the cycle slowly, holding the pieces of yourself together. You try not to let your thoughts wander to darker things and fix your eyes on the tasks ahead. The belt drifts past the window, following a flow of its own, expanding, collapsing, shifting in its own way. The people say it is drifting away, getting further from Hellion's star. That one day it will drift out of the system altogether into interstellar space. You find a strange solace in that. Somehow, knowing that entropy is the way of the universe makes your own decline palatable, at least for a little longer. Oh, what? I got a permanent glitch. Permanent glitch is represented in red on your glitch clock and will not be expended when rolling a glitched dice. You now have a chance of rolling a glitched dice every cycle. This cannot be fixed. Alright, who needs to do stuff? Oh, right, me. Oh, right, me, because nobody else can do anything in this one. Alright. Urgent. The broadcast echoes through your comms. Retrieval required. Conway network agents, please respond. Oh no! We're gonna pick up a narc. You float beside Cadet, the two of you shocked to silence by the sight in front of you. Both of you trace the ghost signal deep into the docks, all the time wondering if it might be the voice of Survivor, but you're not prepared yourself for this. Oh, Mechtel, oh no. Rip forever, Mechtel. Just give it a moment. It was actually pretty rude of you to interrupt a house centipede in the middle of its shower, so I think consider letting them finish before you go in. That's my recommendation, Mechtel. Hope that helps. In the corner of their docks, there's a nest of machines, a gathering of drones and motorized sleds, crane systems, and docking clamps, a nest for the drone mind. Stop, please, the voice shimmers with distortion, relaying on the same carrier signal as the ghost broadcast. We wish to be recovered. Oh, well, little robot friend. You don't know the mechanics of what you're looking at, but you understand it. The drone mind fled here. But how? You exchange a look with Cadet. She seems unsure what to do. You signal your comms channel to the broadcast signal. What happened here? Unverified access, unable to resist, requesting recovery. The drone mind's voice trembles with glitches. Confirm Conway extraction role and identity. You wonder what this mind knows. Is it just an interface designed to speak between humans and drones with a recognizable cadence of intelligent speech? Or is it a thinking machine? You hear a click as Cadet switches to a private channel. This thing is a weapon. We should be careful what we say here. Confirm Conway extraction roles and identity. Please. I'm gonna say we aren't Conway. There's a pause. You see Cadet tense. Please retreat. The nest shudders. Please retreat. Leave us here. Look, Cadet hisses through the private channel. It's hardwired to the station. You look where she's nodding and see a single thick power cable snaking from an industrial wall outlet. The nest is clustered around another end, huddling close to the fading power supply of the station like it's the dying embers of a fire. Urgent. The broadcast starts again. Retrieval required. Conway network agents, please respond. Cadet moves forward a little. I order you to deliver a report on your current status. This is a direct report from Conway Control. She turns back to you and shrugs. It's worth a shot. Confirmation impossible. Connection severed. Temporary bypass activated. Cognitive function minimal. Power supply minimal. Hardware suboptimal configuration. No drone units connected. I am alone. The shift between the communication registers between formal and human is unsettling. Code center compromised. Data extracted by third party. Self-destruction disabled. Purge protocol disabled. Parts of the nest fall away, the power draining faster as the drone mine attempts to draw more from the station. Please, the drone mine asks nonsensically. Please stop. Did you destroy the station? Cadet moves close now, bearing down on the nest. It's little more than a pile of broken machines cowering in a corner as the power fades. Self-destruct attempted. Process failed. Hardware purge attempted. Process failed. Self-preservation protocol activated. Propagated through the station network. Station failed. Central failure imminent. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Cadet turns back to face you. It didn't do this, she sighed. It tried, though. Tried to destroy itself and take the station with it. She turns back to the familiar to look at the failing mind hiding in machines it was not built to inhabit. It escaped into the network and ended up here. It isn't responsible. Responsible or enough? That's enough. Responsible or not, that's enough. Cadet reaches over and rips the power cable from the wall, leaving it floating. The net shuts off, the broadcast channel going silent. The bay goes dark. What was left of the drone mine, whatever protocol or data escaped into those machines and their network, it's gone now. There's no hardware left to hold it. This is why Hexport was destroyed. The drone mine got out, entered the network. Who knows what it might have done? Could it have taken apart the system itself, overloading every system, opening every airlock? Was its drive towards self-destruction that strong? Someone didn't wait to find out. Its escape sealed the station's fate. Come on. Cadet glides out of the room, leaving you among the dead machines. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, now my shit's definitely gonna break. Oh, hey, Junie. Sleeper, can I show you something? There's an excitement in her eyes that makes it impossible to say no. Junie talks most of the way down to the HabPep facility, which is no short journey. She explains the scale of the data hidden within the station's mainframe, but also the issues with extracting it. When the HabPep was first expanded, when it became Darkside after the collapse, no one gave much thought to preserving the existing network architecture. She guides you through the substructure, picking a route through the maze of shuttered passages. They parasited their tech directly onto the existing system, so now thousands of cycles later, the two networks are totally enmeshed, dependent on each other. Junie takes a series of sudden turns, and you realize this is a very familiar route to her now. Messing with the Solheim network means messing with the systems that kept the city going. She leads you down a long corridor, one you recognize as leading directly to the core. Let her explain. This meshing is not a good thing. It makes Darkside brittle, fragile even. This place is on more of a knife's edge than anyone would believe. Look around. Certainly, the underside you're now traveling through looks cycles away from collapse. But all the data we've been extracting, that I've been archiving, it could help us here. It could help us clean up the HabPep systems, and we could turn this place into an archive so that others could come to learn more about the ruins Solheim left us. What's in all this data, Junie? Anything you can imagine. Everything from corporate message records to blueprints and maps. It's just like 100 years of Slack archives. I think that's what Junie's uncovering. It's too much for me to process to understand, but thanks to our visit to the bunker, I have a plan and something that'll help me. You arrive at the doors to the mainframe and Junie suddenly stops. I spoke to Bliss. They told me... She pauses. I'm sorry, Sleeper. I know you have a lot to deal with right now. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Junie smiles weakly. I'll do my best. Junie hits a button and the doors hiss open. You both glide into the mainframe, its columns studded with the blinking lights of active traffic. I got the idea from you, actually. Well, from you and the Overseer. Junie glides over to the mainframe. The ancient memes, Glumper, yes. I love the idea of Junie poring over the one Slack emote that's like a parrot, a neon flashing parrot going like... Ooh. I love Junie being like, oh, the ancient wisdom of the Solheim archives. Ooh. You look at the mainframe and you see now that it's surrounded by new terminals and wiring. Just kind of external access network Junie has set up. I had to beg, borrow, and steal to get this going, but now we have safe access into the network. It's low risk. She moves over to one of the terminals. I'm not quite finished, though. You recall the last time you were here. Lane, Overseer, the Spear of White Light, and then nothing. You wonder where Overseer is now, if they are anywhere at all. You remember how it felt, being dissolved into the network, the vertiginous possibility of life without a body. Something flickers through the lights, a shimmer of movement like a fish beneath water. Sleeper, are you listening? I was saying I need more data to finish preparing. I know. We've already extracted so much, but there's often so little of it that's usable among the bit rot and corruption. More data? Really? What do you want me to say? It shouldn't take too long. One trip to Hellion Gate is all I'm asking. What if I have 6 Solheim data that I couldn't do anything with otherwise in this game that I could give you, Junie? Would that be enough? If it's too much before you reboot, I get it. I just want to do something with everything we've managed to grab from the bunker and the wrecks. We pulled it from the dark. Let's expose it to the light. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. It's very impressive. It will be when it's finished, she smiles. Thank you. Junie turns back to the terminal, and before long, she's fully engrossed. You imagine she barely even remembers you're here. You leave Junie to her preparations and start your ascent to the streets of Darkside,
thoughts of Overseer flicking in the back of your mind.
Oh.
There's not much to celebrate on your return from the remains of Hexport, but you're glad to be back there all the same. There's something surprising in that. Darkside as a haven, not a prison. The slowly occurring idea of this overgrown city as a home. As you've seen in Hexport, stability cannot be taken for granted, not anywhere on the belt. But Darkside has a solidarity and life that feels like it might endure. Cadet catches up with you. We need to talk. She looks around, but not here. Come, I have something I want to show you. Cadet leads you down the deep into the hearts of Darkside, through quiet corridors and bustling streets, on paths you didn't know existed. As you glide after her, the station seems to grow in your mind, its possibilities multiplied by the route that passed through it. Just through here, Cadet leads you across a covered bridge, the view on either side looking down caverns of lit units. This close to the center of Darkside, the air is warm and the passages are quiet. Here, this is the place. She points at a low, wide entrance with storage racks inside. Next door is a smaller unit, with a window looking out to the passage. It seems like a workshop, perhaps abandoned or never finished. It is dusty and dark. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's abandoned. She glides inside and slaps a wall panel. Lights flicker on, illuminating a constellation of dust. She floats in the glittering specks. Looks promising? I know it's a wreck, but it's a start. When we've been on Darkside, I've been coming out here. I just haven't crossed it, but I knew when I found it. I want to start again, Sleeper. She knocks on a metal wall, and this is where I'm going to make that start. I get it. I love slapping things too. If I had, instead of a light switch or like a pull cord, if I just had like a panel, I could go bam, and it was shaped like a hand, so that it was like high-fiving it to get the lights on every time. That would be fun, I guess is the end of that sentence. That would be really cool. What we saw in Hexport, what's left of it, just confirms it to me. We can't stop Sinitstat as much as we can't stop the war. She runs a finger along the storage racks. And what we have, the drive, our suspicions, Sinitstat is vast. How could we pin this to them, even if we wanted to? She looks over at the workshop. I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to start again. I want to work, to ride my bike and courier packages till I fall into my bed at the end of the day with nothing left. You have slappable light switches? Big flat ones? Very fun to slap, you're right. Isoplot, I'm so jealous. You're living the life I want to be living. Which is slapping more things, I guess. Cadet picks up an old corroded tool from the racks. I want to build something here in spite of everything. In spite of the fact that they could take it all away. Because that's the point. To go on living without conceding. To go on building or trying to build something where we can find it. That's what I brought you here to understand, so you know why I'm letting this all go. We can't let this go. I can, Cadet shakes her head. I can and I will. How much am I supposed to face, to take in? Cadet's eyes flash with anger. How many crises are enough to prove myself? I'm not giving up. I'm stepping away. Cadet meets your eye. I'm not ashamed. Yeah, that's traditionally what people say when they're not ashamed. They just really insist. Really underscoring it. Just so you know, I'm totally not ashamed. My old life is gone. Clearing my name in the far spindle doesn't matter. The Spindlejacks will have forgotten me. But this place, it doesn't know me at all. Fair enough, Cadet. Honestly, fair enough. You know where the drive is, what it contains. You know what happened at Hexport. Cadet's eyes shine in the workshop lights. Take it from me. It's yours now. I can't carry this anymore. We could... A problem shared is a problem halved, Cadet. There's no future in this, Sleeper. I'll be here, building something. If you want to do that together, we can. But not this. My travels are over. If you need to find me, I'll be here. Unless I'm not here, because I'm out on my bike, doing travels. Thank you for all you've done. I hope you can understand why you need to do this. She turns and disappears deeper into the workshop. You cross the bridge again, Darkside glowing on all sides. You think of the drive buried deep in some compartment within the Scatter Yards hub, filled with data worth destroying a station over. It's yours now. But you wonder as you cross back through the city, your mind racing, how can all this end well? Oh, is that it? Okay. Oh, okay. Cadet's setting something up. I guess something we'll be able to interact with. All right, can revisit, clear out the safe house, bring Solheim data to Hapbet. Okay, we can just do that. Yeah, that's a great idea, Marzeltine. I think often of the one she did during COVID, which was the parental approval robot. I love her work. I hope she's not a horrible person. Okay, where is the... Here's the ship. Actually, let me go ahead and, before I forget, repair some stuff. Yay. Where do I input the... Here, I guess I'll make this the drive. Here we go. Oh, great. I have the perfect amount. I'm glad I didn't sell anymore. That would have been really obnoxious. Junie needs one final batch of Solheim data to complete her work on the mainframe and lay the foundations for her archive. Junie is thankful for the data. I have everything. Just give me a moment. Okay. You've been waiting for what feels like a long time. Junie insists you can't help, so you find yourself floating in the baking heat of the Hab-Pep mainframe when she taps away at her terminal. Yeah, it's spelled that way and pronounced yech, right? Yech? As you do, you can't help but shake the feeling of a presence nearby, one that you are coming to understand as some remnant of Overseer. You don't know if Overseer was ever really a person, but now, with their many selves combined and dispersed, their consciousness expanded to fill the vast space of the Hab-Pep and its networks, they surely aren't even close to human anymore. But think of them as a ghost. But perhaps now they are better understood as something less mournful, as a system, a process, a thing becoming. The entire station is their body. You can't help but wonder how that feels. And we are ready. Junie hits a key on her terminal with percussive force. It'll take a little while, but she'll be offline in a few moments. She'll be online in a few moments. Junie? Weren't you listening last time? Don't tell me you drifted off. I was thinking about Overseer. Then you don't know. She suddenly looks concerned. Uh-oh. A voice screeches out of the terminals. It descends in pitch from a squeal to speaking. Then below the mainframe, a flickering projection appears, first as lines and then as solid light. Oh, interesting. It's the Warden. The Warden came back. Welcome, visitors. Warden flickers and warps. I am the Warden. Please provide... The image jerks and freezes, then blinks out. Shit. Junie taps... Junie? You're not old enough to curse. Just need to reconfigure her for a Hab-Pep environment. The Warden? Seriously, Junie? What? Junie doesn't look up from the terminal. I told you last time, we need a way to process and understand all this data. Warden is perfect. This better not flow up in our faces, Junie. Junie, I trust you, but this is a little fucked up. It won't. Junie glances over his shoulder. I've taken precautions. She can't hurt us. The technician is right. Warden's clipped voice echoes through the cavernous mainframe bay. My protocol is operating under safe mode limitations. Warden's blind eyes stare out over your head. Do not be concerned, Officer Dahl. Sorry, I'll fix this, Junie chuckles. What about the archive? Warden is our archive. She can sort the data, act as an interface, answer queries from anyone who visits. Come on, you have to admit this is pretty cool. Ha! Trolley agent. You look at the statuesque figure of Warden, once at the heart of Solheim's intelligence gathering operation across the belt. Could such a tool of corporate oversight ever be used for something good? Look, watch this. Junie turns to Warden. Warden, provide the last known location of every Solheim vessel above Ryger class in the Star Ward belt. Immediately, technician. Warden draws a circle with a pointed finger and it expands, filling with bright specks. The first hundreds and even thousands, a constellation of sights. See, Junie grins, this is our fortune, built on the foundation of our past. These tools are ours now. You look at the arc of specks, the points of light describing the shape of a long-dead corporation's power. This makes me a little nervous, Junie. We can't be spared of our past. We have to look at it straight on. Otherwise, we'll never shake off its influence. Well, that's fair. I'll give you that. People need to know what this city, this system is built on. Warden can do that, expose that. It'll help. It will be up to us to reshape the ruins into something new. I knew when I saw her that I couldn't leave her there, alone in the dark. I've been in that dark pit, and I won't condemn another being to it. Junie looks at the placid Warden. Human or not, how we treat her is a test of our own values, of the world we project. Data is not currency. It's not a commodity. It is the immaterial output of a system, a structure, a society. This will be a place to uncover that system for ourselves. She looks around at the chaotic trailing wires and the floating terminals. Once I've cleaned up a bit, she laughs. That's how I feel. It does feel like this is potentially a space station ruining choice. You and Junie spend a little longer in the mainframe, sorting cables and offering Warden casual queries. This feels like... It just feels like... Yeah, Cesius Blue, that's sort of exactly it. We just forever unplugged something similar. Also, this feels like a big choice that Junie is making for the whole space station. That I feel like... Junie was not with us when we met the drone. We took Nia. Cadet was baked in. But Nia... We took Nia. Because I just wanted to spend some time with her. Yeah, this just feels like a choice that Junie is making for a lot of people that maybe we shouldn't be. Not all of them return useful information, and Junie begins listing out the changes she'll need to make. After a while, you both find yourself tiring, heads aching with all the fresh information you've crammed into them. So you close up the core and ascend back through the layers of the facility to Darkseid's surface. As you do, you feel the history of each strata, the layers that make up this place and the belt beyond. Now, more than ever, it feels tangible to you, as if it contains not only the past, but the promise of the future as well. Okay. I guess we should unlock more of the storeroom. Okay. I mean, what else is there to do? We can revisit Oliveira. I guess we're supposed to do all this before we... Oh, how am I supposed to deal with the drive? What am I supposed to do with it? Is there something on the map? Deal with the drive is so ambiguous, game. Okay. I guess... I do think this is a glitch in the game where it just won't show me where I'm at for some reason. We don't have it. We need to pick it back up. Ugh. I guess I want to stay... I mean, do I want to go to Oliveira? Here's the issue I'm running into, chat, is I kind of want to be done with this game and move on. But there's still more stuff to do before we do the reboot. And if they let me save Scum, I would just reboot us and be done with it. But it's just like not an option. So I'm like... But I would love to be done with the game. Do you have a half hour of gaming to do in another game? Yes, actually I have another game that a lovely person sent me a code for. It's an indie, very, very, very indie game called Bundle of Joy, which is a WarioWare baby raising game. It's a game where you play as a parent trying to raise a child, but it's just a series of WarioWare games. And I played the demo and really enjoyed it, and I wanted to play that on stream. Got half an hour, probably enough time to follow through on it. I have 6 minutes. Yeah, the stream number didn't... Yeah, that's why I'm like, I kind of want to finish it. So I can move on and get some actual work done. Yeah. I kind of just want to be done, but like, I mean, I want Seraphin to meet his girlfriend again, and this is the trouble with post-game stuff, is like, we did the climax. And so this is just a lot of stuff to like clean off my plate post doing that. You think we should just reboot? I think we're just gonna reboot. Well, we can't yet. I guess let's finish the cycle and then we'll reboot. We need to give Bliss 2 more ticks to... The drive kind of ties back into the main story, so you'd get that and then reboot? Okay. Well, let me drop some dice on this. Get this done. All right. No dice. I'll say overall for the game, there's a lot of stuff that I wish was more fleshed out. Like for a game that is like, this game is all about the writing. The writing and the world building is just like exceptional. I think it's some of the best writing I've ever seen in a video game. Some better than a lot of like actual novels and stuff. Like not to suggest that game writing is inherently a lesser form, because I don't think it is. But like truly some of the best writing in any media, especially like a cyberpunk media in its form. And I think it's a remarkable game. It does feel like this game, it felt like there was one conclusion and we got it, which is kind of an interesting change from the first one. Because like the first one was you were in one location, you dug really deep with a lot of people and a lot of characters, and then you've got like this beautiful choice of endings. In this one, you've got like a beautiful choice of places to go, but really only the one main storyline. And I think that's fine, but it's just weird to me. The way the characters were handled was weird to me, because some of them got like real full stories and plots, and some of them just seemed like they didn't. And even when I like brought them on my crew to go explore, it didn't feel like we ever got moments with them. So it was just like, because I didn't know like what skills they had or what relevance they would have to a mission. A lot of times it was really hard to know who to take on a mission to get any sort of story reward. I wish it would be cool if there had been an option to be like, it would be cool if there was an option where like you could see what skills were required for a contract and what characters had like story beats that would be relevant to a contract. And then you would have, I like the idea of having to choose between like, this character is less useful, but you'll get more story. This character has less story, but their skills will be more useful. So like, I think that could have been interesting to explore. I kind of thought there were going to be more contracts. I felt a lot of the contracts were inherently like stuff related to specific characters or quests. I kind of thought the contracts would be kind of like one-off exploration, like subplots. Like each one of them would be like a little nugget of a subplot, but they did seem really baked into larger, broader quests, which I didn't hate all the time. But it's also weird that like, I guess that water union area might be part of the DLC. Because it's weird that we spent so much time there developing characters, developing that location, and then we're just like never allowed to go back. The workshop of Cadet's data scraper friend is just as the two of you left it. You remember the cycles you and Cadet spent in there poring over that dark data, the strange fragments of the drone mind's process, protests seeding among the cold code. You find the drive where Cadet told you it would be, in a compartment under the padding of the bulk, lined with thick shielding that makes its contents undetectable. As you pull the drive out, the metal cold on your hands, you have a sudden urge to smash it into pieces, this object which escaped Hexport when so many others didn't. When Sinitstat, and it was Sinitstat, you're sure of that now, decided to cover up what they've done, they first made sure that this drive would get out, that it would pass into the far spindle and then onwards. But something went wrong, some miscommunication or mistake. That's all it was, a tiny slip, and it all fell apart. Now the drive is in your hands instead. You turn it over in your hands. You know the drive contains Conway access codes, control codes, and perhaps more besides. Data of great value, data that would win a war. You also know that you're sick of thinking about it. I don't care. You slip the drive into a pocket and close up the workshop. You head back to the rig, and as you do, you turn the drive over in your pocket, unsure what the next step might be. As you glide through the hub, you pass shipfitters and crews, all moving on their own vectors. It feels strange to carry the drive past these people, all of them totally unaware of the threat it might pose to them, to this station. Excuse me. A stranger stops you in the passageway with a hand on your shoulder. Can I ask your help with something? Oh, he's got dice. Their sudden appearance shakes you out of your thoughts. You quickly take your hand out of your pocket off the drive. Are they going to make me play dice with them? Ooh, Goldstar says, here's my problem with the game. No one place has enough to really stand out on its own, which is a problem because the Eye was such a sense of place in the first game. I also think that the focus on story is a lot weaker than all the individual ones in CS1. It's actually a little ironic because it felt like this game is pushing me to stay on Darkside, which I had no attachment to, but they wanted me to leave the Eye in the DLC, which, why? I had a constant source of stabilizer, friends, a home. This game felt like it was going to have more emphasis on gameplay and less on story because it introduced a bunch of new mechanics, and like you have this fact that you're like going place to place and you're doing contracts, and it did feel like maybe the gameplay was going to be more developed, and I do think it was more developed, but I also feel like it was really well developed in the first half of the game and then less so in the second half, where it's like the fact that we were able to upgrade our ship once was the sort of thing that was like, if you're going to introduce a ship upgrading mechanic, why would you just do it once? Like, why would there be one time that you can do that? Because once it happened once, I was like, oh, I should make sure I have like engine components on hand so that when the next time it happens, I can do that. But then it just never came up again. And we couldn't even use the engine components to like change the paint, which I think would have been an interesting way to make that quest more tied in with the overall structure of the game. So it's little stuff like that where it's like, I don't have any major complaints with the game, but I do have a lot of very small complaints that kind of compile to being an okay but not exceptional gameplay experience. Yeah, says CS Blue, the actions felt more, the contracts felt like there was more going on in the first half. In the second half, it felt like they were all part of overarching quests. And so it was tricky because it's like, I don't want my shit to break when I'm in a really important story quest. But then it also feels like I don't know if there was much of a punishment for failing the quests. It felt like there were fewer like divergent story points. So it just felt like the ending we got was the ending we were always going to get. And so there wasn't a way to like choose how we use resources and choose how we use our dice, because we just had to pour all of our dice into the main plot. You look at the stranger in front of you. He's roughly dressed with a heavy coat, but he's otherwise unremarkable. You could have passed him many times before and not have known. I'm looking for something. A little lost drive. He looks over his glasses at you. Who are you? This matter concerns my client more than me. He leans back a little, his voice calm. So introductions won't be necessary. But the drive belongs to my client, and he'd be very happy to see it returned. Suddenly, something captures your eyes. A set of dice, like those used to play Star and Stoker. The stranger is playing with them in one hand, turning them end over end in the station's microgravity. What's with the dice? Stranger looks down at them as if he had forgotten he was holding them. I must admit, I love to play games to pass the time. I enjoy the chaos of Star and Stoker with its unpredictable shifts. He spins the floating dice. My brother, however, prefers the systematic progression of Tabla with its inevitability. I suppose it runs in our family, he sighs, but I won't bore you with childhood stories. Please, let's be direct. He gives you a friendly smile. My search for the drive brought me to the scatter yards, but from here, the trail went cold. That was until you arrived. Then the trail lit back up again, just like that. The stranger moves his hand in his jacket pocket a little, and you see a shape in there, a box-like impression in the fabric. He's sticking me up! My client never intended these events, you must understand. One of the other contractors proved to be overzealous in an attempt to conceal their mistakes. The result was a regrettable situation you saw in Hexport. But for all that to be for nothing, that would be a waste beyond the original act, piling insult on injury. The stranger sighs. There's much to be gained in a system desperate for peace, for the war to be ended, and wars tend to end when one side concedes. The drive will win the war? The stranger laughs. My client will greatly benefit from its retrieval. Any more is hard to judge without seeing the provenance of the data. Only a few possible futures remain for the belt. My client will facilitate one of the better ones. That is why I'm here. Ah, but I'll give you some money for it. Oh, thank God. $300 in the end game part of this game? What a great time to get all this cash, I guess. Now, can you return my client's drive? The stranger's hand shifts in his jacket pocket. You have the feeling this is not a choice you can deny. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, take the drive. You take out the drive and place it in his hand. He quickly pockets it, and with the same hand pulls out a block of chits bound together with tape. Thank you. The stranger bows his head. For your cooperation. He turns and glides away, disappearing down the passage. You slip the chits into a pocket, an unexpected boon. The belt is no place for principles over survival, and you know that well. What? Okay, so I guess I did a bad thing. I guess I should have broken it? In the end, a contract is just a contract, and data just data. The stars spin on regardless, and they will not hold judgment over you in the end. You did it you broke it to spite him? That's really funny. What did he do? Presumably he just left and you didn't get the money? You suppress a shiver and hurry back to the rig, doing your best to forget the past, hoping it will not repeat itself. At least, in the end, someone got paid. Bliss has been in contact, Sleeper. Seraphin turns and looks over his shoulder as soon as you enter the cockpit. He's sitting in the pilot's seat, running diagnostics on the console. They say they're ready for the reboot. Did they say anything else? You know Bliss. Seraphin rolls his eyes a little. They worry. He turns fully in his seat. How are you feeling? Strong. That's what I like to hear, Seraphin smiles. I know the reboot needs to happen. He speaks slowly, carefully. And I know the risks. I can see all that. But I also know what happened last time. And I don't want you to forget again, to lose all this. Everything we've done. Neither do I. Seraphin nods silently, unsure what to do. This is another thing, is I sort of thought the structure that the game set up made it seem like we were going to get a lot closer to Seraphin. Like, since I got rebooted and my memory got erased, I really thought the core arc of the story was going to be Seraphin and I becoming closer, and I don't know. I just don't really feel like that's the case. If anything, I feel less connected to him at all. And the fact that we had that, and there was this huge betrayal, that betrayal came into a point in this game where it would make sense. It would make sense if the arc of it was us getting a lot closer to Seraphin, and then the betrayal sort of emotionally resetting ourselves by Mechtel, and then us having to like sort of move into the final section with that sort of burdening us. But like, it didn't really feel like that was ever the case. I don't really feel like we got closer to Seraphin, and then after that he was party to a pretty bad betrayal, it didn't feel like there were any consequences for any of that. So Yeah, actually, yeah. I think that's a good idea. Seraphine's arc should have been Marco. I think that would have been way more compelling. If like his sister, he had to choose between like his sister being caught by Utsubo or me. And then that would have been really compelling, because then it's like, well, my sister is important to me, but we haven't seen each other for years, whereas you're important to me, but also you don't remember us. Like, you don't remember us being important to each other. So it's like, how much investment do you really have? Like, I don't know. I think that could have been really interesting. But again, this feels like everything was so dispersed and separate that I think if some of those separate aspects had been cut, and then the core relationships and the core characters strengthened, it would have felt a little bit more cohesive. I'm not saying that to scare you. I just need to say, if the reboot doesn't go how we wanted, I'll miss you. I'll miss all this. Yeah, I will too. If you remember. Haha, Seraphine laughs shakily at his own joke. Seraphine turns back to the pilot console. Whenever you're ready, we can go to Flicker Row, to Bliss. Seraphine pokes at the console in front of him. If you have things you want to wrap up first, I understand. I would too. We're not gonna let you booty call on Oliveira, Seraphine, I'm sorry. Here, Seraphine tosses an object across the cockpit and you catch it out of the air. Take that with you when you go to Bliss. It's good luck. You open the hand and see a familiar metal disc, a coin, its engravings rubbed away a little more than vague shapes and signs. Tala gave it to me. Now it's yours. You can't run from this forever, all right? He glances over his shoulder and smiles. We've done enough running anyway. Turns back to the console and returns to diagnostics. You leave the cockpit and run a hand along the ribbed metal wall of the passage outside. Is it really possible that you could forget all this? All these layers of memory, of experience? Perhaps you can put it off a little longer. Take another tour around the belt, tie up loose ends. Perhaps you had enough of that. Why try to escape the inevitable? Try to recall how it felt when you awoke after Lane interrupted the first reboot. Even that is fading into a hazy memory told by an unreliable narrator. Maybe this is just the next step then. One of thousands that put you here, and the first of thousands more that will take you onward. You come out of your thoughts still unsure, still aware that the decision of when to take that step ultimately rests with you. Okay. Oh, we have to go back. Wait, so what? Why is this still here? I dealt with a tracker. I got paid. I don't have the tracker anymore. Okay. Another thing I am annoyed about how everything went down with this Endurer. I think a better option, rather than having one skill entirely locked out, would be to have it like cost twice as many upgrade points, or like the fact that it's fully locked out is so difficult. All right. Yeah, let's reboot. Oh, okay. Maybe I had to go back to the ship. It's just like the fact that I organically went through, I don't know. The fact that Seraphine came with us on one mission and then never again, and had Endure, and then we were never able to access it again, the entire rest of the game is sort of like, it was frustrating. It's frustrating. All right. Sorry, Cadet. We'll never see your shop. Oh, funny. We have to use the good luck coin as the way to get this to happen. All right, we're doing it. You turn Seraphine's coin over and over in your fingers as you stand in Flicker Row, crowds pushing past you on their way to take whatever fortune awaits them. Your fingers glide over the worn metal as you imagine Seraphine's have, Tala's have, as you imagine Seraphine's have, Tala's have in moments of anticipation. Perhaps others, before the coin came to be Tala's, have repeated the same ritual, the same nervous routine. I'm just not invested in this coin. I didn't know about this coin until 20 seconds ago. But their fingers were human, born, not made. This intrusive thought makes you slip the coin into the pocket quietly, as if it had delivered a shock. You hear a hiss, and the door of the shop slides open, revealing Ankita. You see her eyes scan the crown, almost defensively. before she spots you there and nods in your direction. Hey, Ankita! Ankita, hey! She looks around for a moment, then approaches you. She looks tired, but her stubborn ferocity bubbles under the surface. Bliss is waiting for you. She nods back towards the shop, which I guess is why you're hanging around out here. Nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous. She looks around the crowd. Look, sleeper, if you want my advice, you have to find a way to keep up with yourself. Change is constant, but sometimes you can get left behind. Ankita, who are you? Why are you here? Ankita looks away, the signs of flicker row reflecting in her eyes. I just remembered. I owe you an explanation. I promised to tell you why I wanted Utsubo out if we managed it. I guess I'm not very good with promises. All right, yeah. Ankita is still staring at the signs. I grew up here, sleeper. Did you know that? After I came to the belt, after Bliss and I... She pauses, not wanting to say it. When I had nothing left, this is where I came. And when I got here, my home was gone. Those Otsubo bastards had destroyed it, strangled the life out of it. I was looking for something to fight for on my own terms. Darkseid became that for me. She sighs. That's all you're getting. Promise kept. Okay. Thank you. I guess I was assuming this end scene was going to be like everybody gathered around my body as I rebooted. I guess that would be like the classic ending to a story like this. If it were like a movie, it would be like everybody that I'd met in the game, like gathering around for my reboot moment to see whether or not it takes and what effect it has. But I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't need more reasons for Bliss to be unhappy with me. She grabs you by the shoulders and steers you towards the shop's entrance. I'll catch you after. Don't you worry. She pushes you towards the door and then turns away and disappears into the lights of Flicker Row. You take a final moment and then will yourself inside, leaving the glimmering lights and shifting crowd behind. Bliss is perched on a console. They turn as you enter. Finally, they smile weakly. You were making me think you wouldn't show. I'm ready. I'm sure Seraphim told you, but everything is ready. Yep. Bliss gestures to 2 couches with straps, freshly built connectors, and a bundle of wires at one end. I hope this will be comfortable for you both. Where's Flint? Was just getting some air. Flint leans in the doorway, watching you both. Their pale face looks even more drained of color than usual. Flint comes inside the shop and nods to you. Let's do this. I'm ready. Flint and Bliss go silent, and the sound of the crowds outside filters gently into the room, mixing with the whine of the air cycler and the hum of the terminals. There's not much more to say. Okay, let's begin. Bliss helps you and Flint into the couches. You settle there and slide your arms and legs under the straps that will keep you in place. Connector, with its thick bundle of wires, waves your head. The amount of thick bundles of wires we've seen, I get it because it's true, but there's something approaching Freudian about it. It's hard not to feel exposed, lying here on your back, anticipating what is to come. Ha-cha-cha, talk about Freudian. It is even harder when the memory of waking up to this very same ceiling with its bundle of dangling tech and scratched plating forces itself into your mind. Been here before. Last time you woke up to fear and panic, woke to a desperate escape and a shattered mind. A reboot interrupted. The thought sets you trembling. Then, staring up at the same ceiling, the trembling dissipates. After all, you're back here now. That means you survived the crisis, grew from it. You took the hit and bounced back unbeaten. All good there? Bliss's face floats in your vision. All good. How about you, Flint? You turn your head to see Flint lying beside you, stiff and still. They managed a tight-lipped nod. Looking at Flint staring up at the ceiling like you were a moment ago, you feel a rush of sympathy. After all, they haven't faced this before like you have. They stepped into a future they cannot see. You've been here before. Now, you're just completing the journey. Reach out to Flint. Let's touch fingers. Let's hold hands while we get rebooted. You raise an arm, reaching across the gap between the couches, and your hand touches Flint's. They do not look at you, but they grip your fingers in theirs tightly. Flint's fingers feel different to human fingers. The thick vinyl skin, the repair patches, the pressure of the metal skeleton beneath. You know this is what your touch feels like too, and that recognition is like a connection being made. You close your eyes and feel something floating between the two of you, a solidarity so embodied it reverberates within you. I'm connecting you to the terminal. Bliss's voice already feels distance, lost in the noise. You feel the cold click of the connector, the sense of flowing data. I'll be here when you wake up. It is gay. I think we can all agree. Holding hands while you get rebooted. Super gay. In the dark, you feel restless. You shuffle your fingers, adjust your position against the couch. It takes a moment to notice the sound is gone. The rumble of the crowds, the hum of the machines. This detail unsettles you, and so you search for reassurance. You think of Bliss's words. I'll be here when you wake up. You focus on them, on the possibility of waking up, of being somehow renewed. But what would that renewal look like? Your eyes blink and the lights of flicker row. Bliss, Seraphine, and the renewed Flint beside you. What about them? Do I want to travel or do I want to hang Darkside? I guess I'll hang around Darkside. The station, yes, with its throngs of thousands. Where else in the belt? Where else to be but the heart of the Star Ward belt as it transforms? You put yourself in the city station just outside of the door, perhaps among the bright signs, or higher in one of the ramshackle towers that look down on the ceaseless flow of Darkside. The projects, the possibilities make themselves known to you. The neon paths that curl and split and branch across the dark surface. You choose one. Alright, not Seraphine. Oh, maybe this is like... This is tricky, because what I think is happening is we're just creating a mental network. We're just like thinking about what we want to do in the end game, but because this is a video game and it's making me make choices, I'm stressed about choosing the wrong thing. About like choosing... I'm worried that I'm choosing an ending right now. And I don't have clarity about what exactly it is that we're doing. I guess I'll hang out with Cadet. Yes, the path that flies by, that drags you along with it the moment you reach out and grasp it. A dispatch, a rack of custom bikes, you and Cadet blitzing the passages of Darkside like lightning bolts loose upon the city. You can feel the air ripping at your clothes already, the thrill of mastery. The game does suffer from this. That is a fair criticism. And Darkside is waiting for this to be built. The couriers the city never knew they needed at a good price and faster than a network signal. A chance to build something where others might channel their instinct to run and never look back into something productive. An image. Cadet flipping her bike into the rack as you send out a package with a fresh rider. Brave talk and brash laughter, a future, something small, something shared. The idea makes you tremble with excitement, not just to fulfill it, but to see it made here in this city. Then you feel it, the insistent pulling of a thread, the unraveling of your very self. The reboot comes on slow, and icy seeping into your mind. Little pieces of you flake off in the flow, fading with distance. The uncertainty of the severity of your choices. That's a great way of stating it. It feels like I thought maybe we'd get a perspective of everybody we hung out with, but it's worse. We had to choose what one ending we got to see for one person, that does not feel ideal. It was like, okay, pick one person you care about the most. You get to see what happens to them in the future, and then like... You hear a voice, Bliss's voice, so far away now. You reach for it, stretch your every sense towards its familiar warmth. I'm starting the reboot. It's a whisper into the wind, pulled away from you the moment it is spoken. See you on the other side. All of a sudden, you wish you could make it stop. The incessant entropy of time, the tumbling of rocks through space, getting further apart every cycle, disappearing into the vacuum ahead. The decay of cells, the degradation of code, the corrosion and rot and rust. You wish in the moment to freeze it all, so you might hang on to it, preserve the warmth, the light, the softness at the heart of things. This thought grips you, tears into you like fear. You feel the ice creeping in and know that everything will be lost, if not now, then mere moments away. But then you feel it impossibly, Seraphine's coin, worn smooth by worry, turning in your hand. Wow, this would be so poignant if I weren't super angry at Seraphine. Whoa, Trilobite agent, what a twist! Time has been pressed into that coin by hands, by fingers, its near infinite record of transient touches, each one shaping it in some small way. I mean, I do love this metaphor, though. It is worn and worthless, it is bent and broken, it is beautiful in all of those things. And you press your finger against it, your crooked, calloused thumb, again and again, because you're a broken thing and you have nothing left but that brokenness and the beauty that shines through it. And then, somewhere nearby, a button is pressed, and all at once, one thing ends and something new begins. Galumper, great question. We'll never know. I had to pick one person and one place in this entire game to learn about. I really don't get to learn about... Oh. I got an achievement, Possible Futures. I did want to see the credits. We're not going to, but we're not going to go through all that again. Okay, but it did just put me back. All right, so I could potentially save Scum and do the rest of it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Okay, that was Citizen Sleeper 2. There was stuff I liked, stuff I didn't like. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I do think it is potentially a Game of the Year contender, but I think it's right on the edge. So it could get pushed off if another game comes through and sweeps it. There's a lot of stuff that I really loved in it. But then also a lot of stuff that was a little bit frustrating. Yeah, it's just a lot of plot stuff and gameplay choices that were a little frustrating. I do wish there was more, like, a more thoughtful overall gameplay loop. It really does feel like the first half or even 2/3 of the game were really well structured and written, and then it sort of feels like as the game went on, that became less true, which is a shame. Which really makes me curious if there is a DLC plan for it. Yeah. All right. Well, that was Citizen Sleeper 2. What are we going to be playing on Sunday? I think we're going to play Bundles of Joy, which is this WarioWare baby raising game. Also, I'm thrilled to say that What the Car currently has an Among Us crossover, if you would believe it. So I really want to dip back into What the Car to see what the Among Us, period. Because I love What the Car, and I loved Among Us, and I'm just so curious what that is even going to look like. So I'm just really hyped for that. I love any excuse to hop back into What the Car. So I think we'll play Bundle of Joy. That should take about, the creator said about 45 minutes to play all of that. So we'll play that and then What the Car. And then other games that I have on the docket, I got a code for Blueprints, which is a little puzzle game that's getting incredible hype. Everybody I know who got a code for Blueprints ahead of time and has played it has lost their mind about this game. It's a puzzle game, and apparently it's a puzzle game in which you're gonna have to have a notebook to take notes on everything. So that's very, very high on my to playlist. Ooh, Thunder. I think that was Thunder. Other stuff, I got a code for River Towns, which I played the demo of and really liked it. So yeah, Gold Stars, you really have to hear it out loud to get the Blueprints pun. So we've got a lot of good games on the docket. That's what I've got to say. So great stream, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all Sunday. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good start of your weekend, and I'll see you Sunday for the normal stream. Bye!